So today I'm going to share with you how to reinvest your dividends on M1 Finance. So if you are either using the platform or interested in how the platform works to maybe get started, this video is hopefully going to help you out today. Now, dividend investing is something that I personally love to do and focus on with my investing portfolio. So I want to help you guys in the process of how to actually invest your dividends with M1 Finance. Now, it's a little different than some other platforms. So we're going to go into detail and kind of explain how it all works, as well as sharing with you the benefits of having M1 Finance, especially if you are a dividend investor, and what it can mean for your investing future. So let's go ahead and jump onto the portfolio. Now, this is my actual dividend investing portfolio. As you can see, I named it Dividend Dentist, as I really do enjoy having dividends and getting paid out every single month in dividends. Now, depending on what amount you have in your portfolio, as well as which companies you are invested in, will determine how much you get paid out in dividends. Now, of course, with dividends, it's going to be where you're actually going to get paid out based off the amount of shares you have with the company. But M1 Finance does something a little bit different. You can actually buy into fractional shares in companies, which means instead of having to buy one full share of like Coca-Cola, you can actually buy into smaller portions of it. Now, I'm not talking about investing, just 50% of one share or a quarter of a share. You can put in really small amounts to the point where you're buying like probably 1% of a share, maybe even a little bit less. So it works a little bit differently, which means paying out dividends works a little bit differently on M1 Finance. Because if you only own portions of a fund, that means you're only going to get portions of a dividend. Now, that might sound like a downside to having fractional shares, but it's a great thing, because if you want to get into a company that pays out dividends, but they have a really high threshold on their stock price, this will help you get into that stock faster, which means you get your paid out dividends even quicker. So this is a really fun thing about M1 Finance, is being able to get into these companies and getting paid out the dividends. Even if it's a lot less than if having a full share, you at least get paid out those dividends. Now, I'm going to share with you guys a couple different companies I have. I'm going to also show you guys the dividends that I earn and then how it all works with M1 Finance. So if we go into, like, let's say our tech stock, for example, and we go into AT&T. Now, AT&T pays a pretty good dividend. Now, if we go into the actual company here, you're going to see that I actually own 1.09 shares of one stock, which is awesome. So I actually own a little bit more than one share, but that's not how I started. I started off with a very small amount and I started building up to actually having one full share. So as you can see, their dividend yield is about 5.34%. Which means that even when I didn't have a full share, I was still getting a portion of the dividend, and I'm going to show you guys that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into our activities feed, and this is where you can see how much you're getting paid. If you're on mobile, this works exactly the same. It's just going to be on your left-hand side instead of at the top of your actual web browser. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to activity type, and we're going to go ahead and hit dividends. Now, again, if you're on mobile, it's not going to have the only option here to just click on dividends to take everything out. You have to uncheck everything and then go ahead and just have the dividends by itself. So here we're going to see all these dividends we're paying out. I mean, look at all that. That is money that I didn't have to work for, that I'm getting paid out because I invested my money. So this is a really nice thing. So if we actually go all the way down here to November 1st, I got paid out from AT&T 29 cents. So at that point, I actually didn't have a full share of AT&T, but I still got a majority of the dividend paid out because I had so much of almost one share. So that's a really nice thing, because otherwise I would have missed out on the opportunity if I had to buy one full share before I ever got anything from the company. Now, you might be asking, well, what happens when that money gets put into your portfolio? So once you actually get paid out, it's going to go into your cash amount. So depending on how much you get paid out in dividends, it's going to all lead up here. So if you get paid out, as you can see, a couple times in December, quite a few times in November, all that goes in here. Now, there's some pros and cons once it gets into your cash deposit. Now, in your cash deposit, if you don't have over $10, your money is just going to sit there. So you have to have money depositing into your account for that money to be able to use into your actual investment. So it's mostly like a drip program where it will do the auto investing for you, but you had to hit over a certain threshold. So getting paid out like the cents you see here is not going to hit the threshold easily to hit over $10. So as I'm depositing every week, I'm going to have some of that change go into my actual funds. But once you get to a position in your portfolio where you're getting paid out a couple dollars here, a couple dollars there, and it hits over 10 bucks, it'll just automatically reinvest into the overall portfolio, which is great, because the faster you get your money back into your portfolio, the faster it's going to work for you, and the more likely you're going to have to earn more dividends for the future, which is obviously a really great thing, especially if you're a dividend user. Now, before we continue on, if you are getting some value out of this video, make sure you hit that like button down below. Lets me know that you guys are enjoying these and I can continue to make content like this for you guys to help you in your financial future. With that being said, let's go ahead and hop back into the rest of the video. I also have a dividend tracker that I personally created so that way I can keep track of how much I'm making in dividends every single month and then compare it to years prior. So this is my dividend spreadsheet right over here, where I actually add in how much I make every single month in dividends, and that way I'll be able to compare it year after year to see its growth over time. Because of course, with dividend investing, the whole premise is to make sure that we are growing our investments, earning more dividends, and then having that money reinvested for future growth as well. So if you are interested in having a dividend tracker, you can go ahead and click in the link down below at TruFinancials.com/dividend tracker. I'll have the link in the show notes down below for you to make it easy. Just send in your email and then I'll go ahead and forward you the link to be able to download this entirely for free. So if you end up using it, let me know how you guys like it, because I personally love tracking how much I'm making every month in dividends. Now, going back to M1 Finance, if we go back to our main portfolio here, you can see here year to date, even on this portfolio, we've actually earned with the December actual dividends at $7.04. So that's money that I've earned for having fractional shares building up over time. As you can see my chart here, starting back in, I believe it was January 23rd or so, I had about $100.09, but it's definitely grown quite a bit over the last year. As my dividends keep growing, I'm going to also keep growing this portfolio, and it's going to keep going higher and higher. So dividends are awesome. I think M1 Finance does a pretty good job. I wish it was able to reinvest those dividends right away. Of course, you have to hit that $10 threshold, and that's okay. As you can keep growing, your dividends are going to earn more and more, and that $10 will become very minimal as far as having to hit as a threshold. Now, if you want to keep on learning more about M1 Finance, check out my videos right over here where you can keep on learning and growing for your financial future. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.